Hi Sunita,
Hi, Suveera.
I hope I'm audible.
Yes, yes, you're audible.
So, shall we begin?
Yes, sure.
I am looking forward to this with you.
Yes, yes, me too. I have been excited from last few days.
Okay, so let's start.
Yes.
Good evening, friends. I'm here, Suveera Ballari, your host with Legal Talks with Suveera on our new channel, Pen Wonders International. Today, I have with me for our second episode my favorite, a dear friend, Sunita Sahu. Sunita Sahu is a software engineer by profession and a writer by passion. She hails from Odisha and loves composing poems. I must say, when I read her poem, I always think what's going on in her mind. She has been writing on numerous platforms, and her literary works have been published in multiple Indian and international journals. And she's won numerous awards. Like, I think I must just say that your work suits my soul. So, without wasting much time, I welcome our very own talented Sunita Sahu. Thank you for accepting my invitation. Good evening, Sunita.
Good evening, Suveera. So, thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction. And
And
I
I
am
must
so glad.
congratulate you for all the honors that you have really, received, whether on all the different platforms where you have really composed such marvelous piece of work. I must say the tapestry that you weave with words, actually, I mean, wow, ooh la la, it is.
Thank you so much for your kind words. And to be frank, I am very much honored to be a part of your show. And as a fellow poet, I admire your poems very much.
Thank you.
And whenever I see any certificate being posted with your name, you could see I immediately tag you there because
Yes.
I have read your poems and I would be expecting, yes, this should be surely winning an award
Thank you.
because,
So it's a mutual admiration society that we
yes. Yeah,
Sunita,
true.
let me just begin by asking what goes in a poet's mind when he or she composes a poem. What was the first, what went on in your mind when you composed your first poem? I mean, what was it?
Okay, so my first poem I composed back in my childhood days. So I was, I guess, in standard five, and there was this poetry competition being held in our school, and I just participated on a whim. You know, that time I had no idea about how to even write a poem, but I just participated on a whim, and the topic was rainbow. So at that point of time, I wasn't aware of anything called acrostic poetry, but I had composed an acrostic poem on rainbow,
Ah,
and which bagged me a first prize as well in the school. And the teachers were astonished, how come you know this, that this is an acrostic poem and you have composed it so brilliantly. And I was dumbstruck. I was looking at their faces like, what's an acrostic poem? I just wrote it on a whim. So at that point of time, I realized that yes, there is something in me and I have that passion for writing. So from then on, slowly I started writing on varied topics. I took part in many competitions, both in our school and inter schools as well. And then slowly this passion started brewing up in me, and in course of time I chiseled my skills, and now here I am, and I'm still looking for even improving my skills as and when, in the years to come.
so every time a topic, anyway, say for that matter for Pen Wonders International, when it comes, what goes on in your mind? I mean, say you see or read a topic. So is there a situation that inspires you, or is there someone who is, I mean, there's a stimulus from some person, or what it is, or
Yeah.
it's what it is? What do you feel when you just see a topic?
Okay, so basically, for a poet, what I feel, the muse can be anything and anybody. Just for me, whenever a topic pops up and I see it in my mobile, say if the topic is on nature, So luckily what happens, especially whenever these topics come up, and if I would be on a walk during that time and the topic pops up, so what basically I do, I sit in the below the shade of a tree and then I start typing. Okay,
Okay.
so that actually depends from a poet to poet, but for me anything can be a muse. Like I even have composed a poem on a pencil, to be frank. So
Okay.
at and you know, when inspiration strikes your mind, you will have no idea, and the next morning when I read my poem, and I'll be wondering, have I wrote this poem? I mean, how come?
So when you write a poem, how many times do you go back and forth correcting it? I mean, saying it.
Yes, so that, so see, the first poem which I write is mostly a scribbling and a very draft copy. So whatever comes to my mind, I keep scribbling. So for that, I always carry my laptop, sorry, my mobile, and I have a, you know, Google Docs. So I keep on typing. So then I proofread it, I edit it, and then that poem keeps on hovering over my mind. And when I feel, you know, this word is not that impactful, and it can be rephrased with some other idioms or with some other metaphors or similes, so then based on that I try to edit it. But it all happens in the same day itself. Like in the same day my poem will be completed, like the next day it will be a different poem altogether. I won't stick to my older poem.
How do you manage it with your profession, the writing part, and because
Yes, yes. So yeah, so being in you know, in IT line, especially being a software professional, it becomes sometimes very difficult for me, because I remember I have composed poems in the midst of client meetings as well. And because such is the passion. Okay, so mostly whenever we will not be on video calls during client calls, so when there will be no video mode on and there will not much be participation from my side, I would be scribbling down a poetry or something. And otherwise, if I don't get a time throughout the day, I make sure that I write something at the end of the day. It might be a micro poem, a haiku, a senryu, a tanka, anything. But I ensure this writing exercise I follow regularly. A small poem whatsoever must be written every day.
so basically the words that are there inside you get a voice every
Yes,
night.
exactly. Yes.
I really must say hats off. I often wonder, how do you come across such words, such beautiful words? I mean, really, when I see, sometimes I really pick up a dictionary and uh, I must say how, I mean, it's
Okay.
constant
So
reading.
no, no. Actually, this question I have been asked by many fellow poets. So, actually, what I do whenever I just read from net or I read the newspapers, magazines, journals, anything, and I come across any word which is new to me, I save it in my Google Doc with with a document as new words learned. Okay, so what I basically do, I keep a track of all those words along with the meanings. And
Okay.
during my conversation, during my poetry, during anything, I try to use them.
Okay.
Okay, and I whenever I feel that this word is more impactful and this will convey my feelings, my emotions to my readers more vividly as compared to the other word, then I'll start you know, replacing this word with that. So I have maintained actually, and there has been a plethora of words. If I remember, 200 or 300 till now, uh,
Wow.
already there in my bucket list. And it's still, I keep on adding them. Whichever words I feel, yes, I can use it in my poetry. I can use this words in my even verbal communication. I keep on noting them down.
So that is, I think, one lesson that you would want to give to all your fellow writers, I believe.
Yes, exactly. So
So what's the
that will
other,
help you.
yeah,
Yeah.
what's the other thing that you want budding poets to actually learn? I mean, what is one message that you would really give to them?
So one thing is this one, actually I have come across many poets, and I would also like to give this advice to all novice writers out there, that be original and never compare your style with others. This is one thing I have seen. Like most of the poets, they kind of feel that my poem is not up to the mark. It's not that. It has your essence sprinkled all over the sheet. So that is what differentiates you from the other poets. And that unique charm is, everyone, if you consider the William Wordsworth, Rabindranath Tagore, Sarojini Naidu, any poet, you just pick them up, they are all known for their unique poems they weave because it has their charm in it. And I cannot say that William Wordsworth poem is better than Alfred Tennyson, or Rabindranath Tagore's poem is better than Sarojini Naidu. Each and every poet has their unique essence, their unique that is sprinkled all over it. So that will be my message to all the budding poets: be original, be you, and never get flummoxed by all those if you see that someone is writing and you kind of feel, this is much better than mine. No, but you can draw inspiration and you can use their literary devices and all the things they use, and you can help yourself chisel your writing skills. You can hone your writing skills, but of course, don't try to compare or don't try to copy. Be original and be you.
So, Sunita, before we end the show, I want you to read one favorite poem of yours. It's very, very close to your heart.
Okay. So, actually, I've written many poems which are very close to my heart. But yes,
Something
when
that's very, very close, I mean.
yes,
Feel
yes.
ke kareeb.
Ha ha. Yeah. So, okay. So there is this one poem on. Okay. So this is one of the poem which I had written for one of the platforms, literary platforms, and the topic was it was an acrostic poetry where you have to write a poem based on an image that is
Yeah.
given. Yes. And this poem was written regarding a swing. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So that is one of my favorite poems because this poem, it has a personal touch to it, and it is
Okay.
based on my true experience that I had a recent visit back in January to my village,
Okay.
and we had a beautiful swing under a mango tree, where I used to play with my friends, with my grandmom.
Okay.
And then when I visited this January, I saw that tree was completely shattered. The even that swing was no more where it used to be. Okay, so it was completely tattered. So this one poem is very close to my heart, and I would like to recite this poem.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. So the poem's titled "I Once Had a Dream." I once had a dream of a hoary rope swing hanging in that mango bough, kissed by the rejuvenating spring. The swing did beseech you and me to relive our childhood days, happy and carefree. Shedding our inhibitions, off we merrily flew. Highs and lows we traversed, felt like an adventure new. Kissed by the bridge coy, blushed our silken braids, hither and thither they swayed, as if out on an escapade. A tint of red was smeared on our cheeks tender. Every time we touched the sky crimson, together how we basked in its splendor. Now as I open my eyes rheumy, all I can see a shredded mango tree. Alas, the kids from my dream, can we ever again be?
That's so beautiful. That's so touching. I actually could imagine the tattered thing, the kids playing on that swing. Actually, it reminds me of the going to and fro. Sunita, that was really, really beautiful. And thank you so much for coming. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe on YouTube. It's Pen Wonder International Global Vision. It's a part of the community Pen Wonder International, where we all are, it's a coven of all wonderful writers across the globe. Thank you, Sunita. And next week, we bring again one more gem, a across the globe. Thank you once again, Sunita. Looking forward to many more sessions with you. Thank you. And stay safe.
Thank you,
Bye.
Suveera. Yeah, bye.
Bye.